Okay, I want to give an update on the 1965 Mustang. I've been working on replacing this floor in this badly rusted car for quite some time, and I don't remember when my last video was. It was quite a while ago, but I finally got some time to get the floor ready to be put in, and I had a lot of trouble with the welding. The metal's terrible. I have an old welder, and I have a MIG, and both of them were causing a lot of problems, but I needed to get this floor pan in. And in addition, there was a lot of things that needed to happen to get the floor pan in. So I called a buddy of mine to come up and help, who is a very good welder and an even better fabricator. And with his help, we have gotten it to the point where we are just a few scuffs and cleans and fitments and straps away from getting this floor pan put in the Mustang. And then I can move on to the other rust, which is basically every panel on the car. What was supposed to be a really clean car, but turned out after blasting to, as is usually the case, not quite so much. But the floor pan, what I want to tell people about the floor pans are that they do not sell a 1965 floor pan. What they sell is a floor pan that fits everything from a 65 up through a 68, 69. What's missing are these two horns, or these two scallops that you see right here. 65s and 64.5s, which this is, have these. It's where the emergency brake cables go over the rear frame rails as they begin their kick up. That's it, you're looking at right there, center in the screen. As they begin their kick up into the trunk. So the emergency brake cables on this model year pass over the frame rail and under the floor pan. You cannot buy this floor pan. What you buy is that panel that you see in the center of the screen back against the cabinet. And then you have to cut and fit it into this floor that is built to fit most Mustangs. So my buddy Bill came up and, bringing his welding and fabrication skills, perfectly has grafted these on here so that they're in the right location, and when we get it all painted and in the car, it will look from the bottom and from the inside like it was always that way. So this has been a lot of work, and one of the things you learn is that, sorry about that, that these cars don't like being up in the air for any sort of time on a rotisserie with the floor pans out. So I did it. I didn't cross brace it, and I'll tell you why. When you get the floor pan and you measure it, and you measure the car with the old floor pan in, you will find they are not the same. That new floor pan is meant to fit most all cars, not your car. So my thought was, we'll take the floor pan out, allow the body to draw together just a little bit, which it's done, and then we use of course, the big straps to go ahead and pull it in a little bit, about 1/8 of an inch on each side, to make it fit perfectly so we can weld down the sides and across the middle. And hopefully tomorrow, which will be Thursday, we can get this done. And yes, I know that the plates that cover the rear frame rails are going up a little too high. I have to cut those down just a little bit. Bill didn't understand that they didn't do that. There's actually a cavity on that panel that does the job of running those plates all the way up. They're usually about 2 inches down from the rear transom over that holds the rear shocks that goes up into the trunk, that rear seat back panel. So I got a lot of cleaning to do tonight. I got to flip that floor pan over and sand and clean where it is going to be spot welded with a MIG using pulse. And that way tomorrow we can set it in the car and begin welding and putting a floor pan back in this rusty piece of Mustang. So with that, I will leave everybody and say, if you got any comments or any questions, please feel free. But I'll tell you what, I'll leave this comment. When a Mustang shop that does a good job tells you it's going to cost a couple of grand to put a floor pan in, and you think, oh, that's too much, double it. That's what you should pay them. Because to do this well and to do this right, it's a lot of work. And I've seen guys on videos take air hammers and just chisel out spot welds. But the guys who drill out the spot welds, clean the metal, prep the metal, and by the way, weld through primer does not keep rust from happening. Rust happens under weld through primer. So I don't know what that shit is good for. You can't weld through it, and it causes rust. So I'm throwing all I got away. If anybody wants it, let me know and I'll send it to you. So, learned a lot, but don't be afraid to pay somebody to do this. I do it just to keep me in the garage and keep me from doing something else that costs a hell of a lot more money. So, and by the way, when you're going to shop for a Mustang and somebody says they got a rust-free example, take somebody along who knows where to look in these cars for rust. Because rust in the most unusual places will cause you big, big, big problems. In hindsight, we're 2020, I would buy the Dynacorn one-piece floor that includes the frame rails, that includes the transom into the trunk and the trunk panels and the floor pan already all welded together, and you just put it up in the car. I would have done that in a heartbeat now. And I know it's $2,200, but guys, I mean, I don't know the date that I first started doing this, but I got to tell you, and I know I took some time off and did some other things and did the dragster and all of it. But even going hard at it, it would have taken a couple of months. So buying that one-piece frame rail from Dynacorn would have been a great thing. Anyway, that's about 7 minutes. I'm going to stop it there. Adios, and I'll give you updates once the floor pan's in.